question is, and so actually a little bit of a background. So this is one of my best friends, and I told him about the conference table, and I told him that right now I'm going through a journey of feeling stuck and how I need to talk to my inner child or the stuck part, the protector part in me, and understand why she's so afraid. And so his question was, so while I understand, so while introspection and understanding my past versions and how they affect my present is great, it's also serving as a way to justify my present inactivity. So, say if a business failed in the past and the fear of failure makes me lazy in my present, there are two possibilities. One, I feel that laziness is justified and give myself more room to be lazy. And then two, I know I am lazy. I decide to change my self beliefs, go out and do it right, or be okay with failure. And so, this friend of mine wants to go from that laziness, that laziness energy into, hey, I'll be fine. I need to change my self beliefs and we're going to be okay. So they want to understand how to go from laziness to more of a understanding and going after what they actually want.
Ooh. Thank you for this question. All of these questions are just so good and juicy and fun. So thank you. I also acknowledge that it's vulnerable to share a question. So thank you for putting yourself in that position and potentially helping others through that. So first of all, thank you. Okay. So just gonna reframe. So we have laziness or inactivity justified by past pain, moving to aligned action. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just want to make sure we're on the same page. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say, of course you're lazy. Like, of course, and lazy is such a judgmental word. I don't love that word. Stuck or idle, like an idle car or stuck, that feels like more gentle and compassionate than lazy. Lazy has so much judgment attached. So I just want to be thoughtful about using words because they're powerful. So idle or stuck. And of course, idleness and stuckness is such a loving, protective part of ourselves. It loves the shit out of us. Like, it just is protecting us from pain, from perceived pain, perceived fear. Fear is all about, let me just pause for a second. I love fear. Fear is literally the most loving feeling in the whole world. Oh, am I allowed to say that?
I think so. I think you'll be fine.
Awesome. Okay. So fear is the most loving feeling in the whole world. It is such a misunderstood feeling. Fear is constantly tugging on our pant leg and saying, I love you. I don't know how to protect you from the unknown. Mm-hmm. Unknown is ahead, and I don't know how to protect us in it. Just want to give you a heads up. We are stepping into the unknown, and I need you to know that. That's what fear is doing. And so the idleness or the stuckness is just saying it's a beautiful way. So I like to do detective work of how fear shows up in my life. So for me, it starts with a tug on the pant, like, hey, Kristin, we're like, hey, just want to give you a heads up. We don't know what's coming ahead. There's a lot of unknown. Cool. Stop. I don't have time for you. I need to go. Like, the hustler gets involved. No, we got to just do. I don't have time for that. Then it's like, kind of yells at me like, hey, there is unknown ahead. Bah! And I'm like, I hear you, but like, no, don't have time for that. Then I want to know what those like urgent, when fear, because fear has a job. It must be heard. Its job is to share a message. And if I'm not listening or I'm denying it, it's going to find the most effective way to communicate with me. I need to figure out what those ways are for me as a detective. So for me, it's control. So I might try to, like, I might be like, oh, I have to close those drawers, or worst case scenario thinking, if I don't do this, then this will happen. So control, worst case scenario thinking. Some people it's tears. Some people it's laziness or idleness or stuckness. So it's just starting to become aware of how fear is communicating with you. And so once I understand, like, oh, I'm closing those drawers because I'm fucking terrified. Ah, I did it again.
It's
Um,
okay.
I'm terrified. Then it's like, oh, it's just fear. So I would imagine, and Shubhi, you know, we've talked about this, of imagining like sitting. I'll share that picture, but it's like this stone path, one stone at a time, and then the path ends, and it's just open land, open sea, and you're just sitting on that last stone going, I'm good. Like, I I don't know what's out there. There's no stone there. And fear's going, hard pass, hard pass, hard pass. I don't know how to protect you. Oh sweet Jesus. Oh, like, just, we're gonna sit, we're gonna have some snacks, we're good. And so just right there, imagine, like, so when I see that, giving my laziness is justified and give myself more room to be lazy, I hear, I'm scared. I am
Yeah.
so scared. And so what I would talk to this person about is, what am I so scared of?
Mm.
What is the fear trying to communicate with me? I'm so afraid of having big feelings. I'm so afraid of failure. I'm so afraid of feeling like I'm gonna mess it up, and I don't want to feel that pain again. I just don't want to feel pain again. I really don't want to feel pain again. And or grief. I don't want to feel the sadness of that. I don't want to feel the defeat of that. I don't want to feel the crushing anger of that. I just don't want to feel that again. And then I can have so much sweetness with myself of, maybe it's not time to go into action.
Mm.
Maybe I can intentionally rest instead of judge myself as lazy.
Mm.
Because if I'm scared, what do I need? What reassurance, because fear is always asking for reassurance, what reassurance do I need to take that first step off the stone?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just more time. Maybe it's like, hey, I hear you. That was a lot of pain in the past. That hurt a lot. I thank you for trying to protect me from that pain. You're so good at it. And idleness is such a beautiful way of showing me that we're scared. But what's one thing we can do today to step in the direction of this passion, the direction of that dream, knowing I'm fully capable to feel the big feelings? We don't
Mm.
have to protect ourselves from the big feelings.
Right. Whew. So, as someone who is a huge hustler because he's very ambitious, he dreams big, and he wants to basically get shit done, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So, let's say he's going to be hearing this, right? So he listens to this and he's like, okay, laziness is just idleness. I am scared. And he even wrote in his question that he has a fear of failure, right? So he'll be able to identify because he's also very introspective. So he'll start thinking about, like, what is he afraid of? Oh, like, this failed the last time. I'm afraid this is going to happen again. Or I don't know what people are going to think about this. Like, I don't know what his narratives are. But once he's identified all of his fears, right? I think if this was me, one of my questions would be like, okay, like, if I need time and I need to be more compassionate with myself and I need more idleness, how much idleness is enough? Like, how do I know when it's time to step back again, or when it's like, because in my head, if I was like coming from his perspective, like, he doesn't want to be idle, right? He wants to be hustling, he wants to be doing his stuff. So I could almost feel like him, like, I was telling him to be more idle and might be like, fuck, like, I don't want to do that, like, So um, that's one part, and then the second part is once he's identified those fears, and if he is idle for a while, how can he know, like, how can he create that safety within? I think that's another important question to ask. So, like, being compassionate towards yourself and understanding, which he has. I think he has done the introspection, because if you see his question, it's like, so well, introspection and understanding of my past versions. But, like, how does he go, like, what is his next step? So let's do the first question, because I know that was two in one. So the idleness, like, how long, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a great question. I want to be thoughtful in answering. I'll share my personal experience with this one. So I have been an entrepreneur many a time. I am a patented inventor. I invented something in college, a portable stand for shaving your legs in the shower. It was one of those classic stories of like drawing it on a napkin and seeing a need, and then I like was a little hustler and got a prototype and the whole bit, and ended up getting it patented, and then got it manufactured. Won a or was nominated as a global innovation award at at the largest houseware show in the world. Um, Started selling them. Went on I was invited to be on HSN to sell them. And uh, we got an order. Like I had a dream, right? I had something on like a vision board, basically, of like getting an order from Bed Bath and Beyond or something like that, and it happened.
Mhm.
And
Ooh.
yeah, and then my husband and I had to look at each other and say, "Is this the direction we want to go? Is this aligned with who we are? Is this the business we want to build?" And we had to say, no, this is not what we want to build. And we ended up licensing it and stepping away. Now, that was a almost 15-year journey off and on, with
Uh-huh.
so much pain and so much elation, like the highest highs and the lowest lows. And the recovery from that experience was brutal, because I had to look at my lessons learned. I had to look at the things that were successful. Like, where did
Mhm.
I crush it? Where was this successful? Even though according to society of like being financially a tycoon, it wasn't the next Snuggie, you know? So if I couldn't define its success based on that external goals, or what other people might call success, how was it successful for me? What were my lessons learned? And then when it was time to be an entrepreneur again, I just heard no. All of
Uh-huh.
me, all of me said no.
Hmm.
I was just like, I can't go through that again. That took me through the ringer. I'm terrified of going through that again. What if it's not successful? And so I had to, and this person you shared is introspective. I had to get down with like a pen and paper and go and really just get honest with myself of where were the successes? Where were the lessons learned? What am I terrified of? Can I hold my own hand and say, we'll go one step at a time?
Mm.
And I do find that there's like a scale. And so the desire for safety, the desire for, so the idleness of, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to chill and eat snacks because I'm really, really scared. And then down here would be, but this is what I really want to do. I really want to do this, even if it's scary. I can hold my own hand and reassure that fear that we'll go one step at a time. And at some point, the scales tip, and the importance of pursuing what I love becomes more important to me than the fear of failure, or the fear of pain, or the fear of
Mm.
sadness, or the fear of fear. And so it's when that scale tips that it's like, okay, I'm bored being idle.
Mm. Mhm.
I'm bored. Like, I want to go do something. And then hearing the fear be like, yeah, but the couch is really safe.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I really want to go do this. I want to create my website. I want to create my first Instagram. I wanna. It starts to become this like desire that comes from somewhere else. And so then it's like, yeah, but Instagram people will see you. That's a lot.
Mm.
But a website means that you're going to be real. Like, you're going to actually put yourself out there. Are we sure? I mean, couch and snacks sounds good.
Right.
But man, when that scale tips, then it's looking at the fear on the couch, the idleness, and holding that fear's hand, going, I hear how scared you are. I hear that it was painful in the past. I hear that it was hard. And I get it. We're capable of feeling those feelings. We survived those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go together and just start the website. 5 minutes. Let's do one Instagram post. Let's do one thing today that's in the direction of our dreams.
Right.
So it's just
Yeah.
watching that scales tip and then watching the resistance to the action. The resistance is that old fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I also want to add that I am going through this right now. Kristin knows this. And so I also think sometimes because we are idle, and even though this might be your dream and we know we want to pursue this, we may fill that idleness with like other things that kind of like temporarily satisfy us. Like for me, it was like traveling or just maybe going like somewhere specific or exploring new cafes, meeting new people. And so that idleness is suddenly now filled with like these temporarily activities that I am excited about. But as soon as those activities are gone, that feeling, that nagging of that dream still comes back. And so um it's interesting that I love the concept of the balance because it can help you see where you kind of stand.
And then watching like, I really do want to reach out. Yeah, but that's like a lot to, oh, and then that's when I can see the fear in action of the resistance to the action.
Right. Right.
And that's where I can start doing the deeper work of, oh, that's fear.
Yeah.
I hear you, fear. It's okay to be scared. That hurt. That really hurt. Of course, we're going to be scared to do it again. We're doing it differently this time. I'm more capable this
Mm,
time. I'm more aware this time. I have more lessons learned this time. And we're going to do it in
right.
a way that's aligned this time.
Mm, yeah.
It's like what we talked about, not
So
0 to 100.
exactly. I was gonna say, can we talk a little bit about the tiptoeing?
Yeah.
We literally had a session on this yesterday. So
Yeah, amazing timing. I always love when that happens. But we talked about how, there's a feeling of, well, if it's not going to be, there's an image, the image that came through with like, don't go in the water unless you're going to be a professional swimmer.
mm,
Like, don't even try unless you're going to be a professional. Don't even try unless it's going to be successful. Don't even try. And then there's this feeling, but like, what is what? Like, what? What belief is that? And then it's just putting my toe in a river, being like, do I like that water?
hmm
Putting my toe in a lake. Oh, this water's delightful. Stepping out. In like a lagoon in Hawaii or like a beautiful little sanctuary cove. Put my toe in. Ooh, this is fun. And like just this idea of like dipping a toe in. Dipping a toe in to see what that joy is, what that aligned action is. And then maybe put a foot in and go, well, that was good for today, and step out. And then maybe put both feet in, step out. Up to the knees, step out. Up to the waist, step out. And this idea of sampling, this idea of tiptoeing into aligned action so that it isn't 0 to 100 and we put ourselves into a dysregulated nervous system, or we squish the fear and say, I'm going to do it anyway. It's like, no,
mm,
I'm just going to sample this. I'm going to sample this experience. Do I enjoy this? Is this aligned? Is this for me? So I might put my toe in a lake and be like, yikes, not my vibe. And then I might put my toe in a lagoon and be like, this is delightful. So, like that's how I felt with Like I loved designing my own website. It was so fun. That was like my version of like a Hawaiian like cove. I was like, this is delightful. Instagram,
Mhm.
not my vibe. I like put my toe in and it was like, ooh, I don't get it. It's not my energy. So I found someone to support me in that endeavor because I like it's just
Mhm.
not my forte, but I wanted to try. I wanted to
Yeah.
see what fills me up. So this idea of like, I'm not going to just jump in and just say like, well, now I need to be a cove swimmer. It's like, no, let me just see what feels good and go one step at a time.
Yeah, and I think in the process of tiptoeing, it comes to back to that inner safety of like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm testing the waters. I'm seeing if I like it. And that kind of answers the second question that I had about like how do I create that inner safety again within myself? And it comes back to checking in constantly
Yes.
throughout. What do I feel? What do I need? What do I feel? What do I need?
That is
Um,
by far, like, if I could call this person, I would say just like the idleness versus the ambition, both are welcome here.
mm,
Like both of those. So I'm hearing that lazy is a character around the table.
mhm,
And lazy is just saying, hey, I'm scared.
yeah.
And so when I would see laziness, I'd be like, oh, cool. That's just a scared part of me. Awesome. Like, thanks for letting me know we're scared. You're welcome at this table. Ambition, meet lazy. You guys can be buddies. And they handshake each other. And ambition's like, hey, man, like, thanks for letting us know when we're scared because I don't even feel fear. I'm just like, let's just do it anyway. And
Yeah.
lazy's like, yeah, man, I know. That's why I have to step in because you will just push us to the brink of disaster. And so they end up being besties. And that's where I would say that what do I play this game? We talk about this all the time, but I play this game all day. What do I feel? What do I need? What do I feel? What do I need? I feel I feel delightful right now. I just need to have this amazing connection with you. That would be my answer right this second. I feel like another one would be like I feel exhausted. Like last night, I felt exhausted. I told the person I was with, hey, I feel exhausted. I just need some quiet time.
Mm,
So I'm just like constantly checking in so that that becomes my inner safety. So no matter what's happening in the external world, I'm deeply connected to myself.
mhm, right. Yep. Yeah. I love the concept of the lazy part and the hustler, the doer part, the ambitious part, becoming best friends. I think that's so beautiful. And it's literally like for me specifically, like whenever I've started recognizing when my protector part, or my stuck, I call lazy stuck's kind of the same energy, but like my stuckness, when it's there, I literally have to like go in and be like, "Ooh, I'm feeling something. Why am I feeling this way?" And then talk to it, like love it, understand like what's going on and give it what it needs so we can be comfortable and confident for when we do step our toes in. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, do you feel like there's anything else that we want to cover with this question? Or is
I would say that if I was going to talk to this person, I would say just start to like I would I would probably ask questions around like how well do you know your lazy part? Like getting like a
okay?
video like how it's so
Wait, your voice is doing something weird.
oh, am I back?
Yeah, it's kind of weird though. I don't know what it is.
Strange.
Oh, it's fine now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say that like just spending some really quality time with the lazy part because it's a very, very powerful protector.
Mhm.
And just
Okay.
getting to know it and love it and welcome it to the table and welcoming the ambitious part and um and knowing that lazy is going to put the brakes on. when it's getting to be too much, or there's too much fear, or there's too many feelings.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so the fact that those can become like they can become allies versus enemies, or instead of being against each other, they're right there with each other. It actually is a gorgeous piggyback to ambitious and self care. Because I'm hearing the lazy is like, hey, we're scared, you're not paying attention, so we're just going like full couch mode.
Yeah.
And so I would notice that if that's where I was going, I would check in. Do I need a nap? Do I need a snack? Do I need a juice box? Do I need to talk to my fear? Is there fear under the hood? I would start to get really introspective when lazy, that character, shows up.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. I know that this is gonna be really helpful for him. So yay.